All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. We're going to be talking about the Galaxy S25 Plus after 90 days. And I've actually completed more than 90 days. I've had this device for almost 4 months, but I've been using it for 90 days, and I'm using it in and off on Google Fi and Mint Mobile. But right now, it's on Google Fi. And I've been rotating in and out of with SIM cards to service providers because, I want to see how it's going to play out on different providers. A lot of you guys have these providers and you might still be interested in buying this device and you haven't done it yet and you're considering it. So currently it's on Google Fi. That is where I transferred the service to from here, took my Mint SIM card out and put it here. And Google Fi is absolutely phenomenal for service. And I'm starting for service first because signal strength is something that's important, because I've gotten mixed signals depending on what provider I'm using it on. So with Mint Mobile and with Mint and with Google Fi, it's been phenomenal. But the best service has come from Visible Wireless. Visible Wireless service has been great with these phones. And it's just really solid on Visible Wireless. So those are the providers that I've tested it on. If you have another provider, I'm pretty sure it will work just fine, but you'd have to test it yourself. But the cell phone service on here has been the best on Visible Wireless, and then bring in Mint Mobile and then Google Fi. So, but either or, all of the providers do good. Strong signal, no drop calls or anything like that. It's just been really good. So cell phone service has been great on this phone. It has strong antennas on it, and I think a lot of people who are buying this should be okay overall with it, depending on which provider they have. But again, you'll have to figure that out once you start using it. So there are people out there, like I said, who have not purchased this device yet. There's a link in the description if you decide to pick up any of the Galaxy S25 devices, the Edge, any of those, they're there. So the design of this phone is kind of that new direction that they've gone. This is the blue-black version of this phone. It really looks like it's gray, honestly. I think it's called blue-black or something like that, but very seldom does it look blue. But it definitely is a nice piece of hardware. But honestly, after having this design on the devices in so many places, I'm actually kind of welcoming the new look of the Galaxy S25 Edge. I actually got some hands-on time with that product, and it's actually really solid, folks. It's actually a really nice piece of hardware. And so then when you come back to this design, you think, man, it's time for change, and it is time for change. So speaking to the Samsung guy I was talking to, he says that the changes are coming for the next part of the next lineup. And, I guess getting a glimpse at the Edge kind of gives us the edge on what we can see, pun intended. So this camera area here is a little dated now, but it is still really good. It's a good looking device. It's a safe device when it comes to hardware. That's the thing. It's a safe bet on this hardware design. You've got the brushed aluminum sides and everything around here. And it's just a good looking phone. It's nice on the rounded corners, not sharp like the Ultra. So again, that's another plus over the Ultra. I've always pointed out, I think the hardware on this feels much better in the hand than the Ultra. It just kicks it to another notch when you have to do extended periods of times holding the phones, and it doesn't give you much fatigue when doing so. Like holding this device like this, it's not really anything harsh on my hand after an extended period of time, because this is what people are doing, looking at their phone this way, and they're just gazing in it. And this area of your hand right here is the part that gets a little fatigued, and then also up here, the parts that are gripping it the most, like trying to keep it steady for you, could possibly get fatigued. But it's this area here. If you have a pointy phone, it's going to get fatigued at some point. You're not going to like that over time. So this hardware, to me, is just on point. The screen that you're looking at here, this thing is so beautiful. It is tried and true to be a solid screen, because it is Quad HD. I'm going to fire up a video here. The quality of this screen is just good. This is video that I shot with the front camera on the OnePlus 13 here in portrait video, and it is just it's a good look. I love the full look of the screen. The little pinhole camera over there, you really can't even notice it, depending on if you focus on it too long, you could see it. But this is a white area over here on the white leather seats here, so it's noticeable sometimes at this point. But overall, the quality of this screen, it's a Samsung screen. And, Samsung is going to continue to give themselves the edge because, meaning they're giving their screens to other companies, but in their own phones, man, it's incredible. It's just amazing how beautiful the screen is. Now, if you listen to the speakers on this device, it's actually really good. And I'm curious to see how the speakers are going to be on the Galaxy S25 Edge in comparison. Let me crank this up for a second and give you a little sound test. Obviously has been on the lot for a month and a half. And so I've been reimbursed for my payments. So this is another reason why it sounds really good, crystal clear, solid. I really like it a lot. I think this is just a great setup for the screen size and the quality and the speaker volume when it relates to the hardware. It is absolutely great. I really like it a lot. And I think you just can't go wrong with Samsung's displays. I mean, this is a 6.7 inch display, Quad HD. It's good. And then also the Edge is going to have the same display. So again, I'm curious how this is going to be with the speaker quality on the Galaxy S25 Edge. We will find out soon enough. Now, other than viewing content on the phone, how is your normal display stuff here? It is what you would want. I think this is, in theory, I think the best screen size is about 6 inches to 6.3 for daily use. Now, this is a larger display. One of the big screens that I like is this one better because it curves on the back of the corners of the device. And so this phone, believe it or not, feels completely different in the hand than this phone, because it's boxy on the backside. So you should believe that. I can hold this phone all day with no issues and just no fatigue. And that is why it is like the #1 phone that I have right now. Now with this device, it's flat on the back and there is no chamfer or anything on the edges. It's just a flat design. That's a good thing. No curved display, flat display. Samsung's screen protector is still holding up great. The back is comfort and feel, and it's just going to be different. So, but I still think this display size, anyway, like I was saying, 6.7 is kind of like the biggest I'd want to go on a phone like this, because like I said, I got some hands-on time with the Galaxy S25 Edge, and it feels way better than this just because it's thin. It's the same size. It's just like 2 to 3 millimeters thinner. This is 7.8. I think the other one is 5.8 or something like this. Is 7.3. I can verify it real quick here. Let's see here what this is. The Galaxy S25 Plus is 7.3 and the Galaxy S25 Edge is 5.8. Folks, that is not a lot, but I can tell you in hand, it feels completely different. It's so thin, and you will see shortly with them side by side just how much thinner it is, and it's so much more lightweight. This is 190 grams, and the Edge is 163 grams, and so just in-hand feel is important. But screen size, they're exactly the same. So I feel like when it comes to the Edge, you're getting this big battery inside of this little body. 7.3 is not thick, but a 4,900 milliamp hour battery here is simply amazing. And that is what I wanted to talk about next. The battery life on this thing is incredible. I mean, using this every day as a second device or a third device, you'll get even longer battery depending on how you're using it. So for me, it's been a lot of social media and a lot of calls. That's generally where it's at for this device. Now, if it was my daily, like the #1 spot, which is this phone right here, it would have even more usage. But I think, that's why I'm getting such stellar battery on here, is because it's kind of like a second device to me. So it obviously, I think for the people I like to, this was a daily driver. Now, this was the #1 spot for quite some time, at least 45 days of its life. The first 30 days, it definitely lived in the #1 spot. But after a while, I start to shuffle back around and do other reviews, and then go back to my primary device, which is actually the OnePlus 13. That is my primary device, and I think that is the best Android phone I have in this catalog for these slabs right now. It just checks so many boxes that I just think it's the best deal, as one of the best deals for getting a smartphone as well in that caliber. So in this range here, the screen is great. It's beautiful. The speakers are loud. The battery is good. The hardware is good. The battery life should take you through 2 days or more. When I was using this regularly, I was easily able to go into 2 days, into 3 days with no problem. I mean, really hitting it hard. So it's going to be up to you to determine how your battery life goes, because we're all using different apps. I don't have a phone not to use it as a phone. You know what I mean? Like I make a ton of phone calls, lots of text messages, but phone calls are the highest usage I have on my phone, of all the phones. Like when I'm using a phone calls is like the top priority for me, because it's a phone. It's my phone number. I need to get in contact with people. I need to do what I need to do. So with that said, that's why I started with Signal, because, I'll let you know if a phone has poor signal or something like that. But nonetheless, you've got a very nice design, a little dated at this point. I am ready to see something new from them, especially after experiencing the Galaxy S25 Edge. I like the back of that phone a lot better now that I've seen it in person, and I've got some hands-on time with it. And I spoke to the Samsung guy, like I said, and he said, "Oh, changes are coming for the Z Fold, the Z Flip. We'll see." But this hardware isn't bad or anything, but I do like some of the flashier, I guess the different eclectic backs like this. I don't like the big circle most of the time, but you get used to it after you start using it for a while. So yeah, this design can use some improvements, but overall, this is a tried and true design, and they know it's going to work. They know this is going to work for them. So you've got a good design, you've got killer battery, you've got a beautiful display. The software is Samsung. I'm on Android 15. And I'm on One UI 7. As you can see, I'm scrolling up and down. That wasn't a thing, unfortunately. Something as simple as that wasn't a thing. Samsung software is baked and overloaded with overkill with everything, which isn't a bad thing. I don't say that in a derogatory way. I say it in the means of it's here. So if you need to use it, it's here. You can literally do everything with their software. It's incredible. So, and I like that all the Samsung software is pretty much the same except for the S Pen. That's where they start to differ, but all of them pretty much get the same layout and the same software experience. And so I think that's a positive thing. Layer level across the board, make sure everybody's getting the same treatment, if you will, except for the people who bought the Ultra or the folding phones and things like that. They get a little bit of extra little kick for them, but other than that, same software, same phone, same experience. And so, like I said, I'm not looking for a major experience change when the Edge with the Galaxy Edge, S25 Edge. I just know that it's just all going to come down to hardware and battery for me. And the cameras are going to be good, I'm sure. I'll test those too. But nonetheless, this is a solid phone. So if you have this phone, if you have a Galaxy S25, okay, I'll say this: if you don't have a Galaxy S25 and you have like a 22 or a 21, and you're thinking about upgrading, and you see the Edge and you see this, I think the only reason you would get this over the Edge is possibly the battery. That's it, because you can live without a telephoto lens. People think you just need a telephoto. It has digital zoom. Cameras that don't have the telephoto lens have digital zooms. And AI is involved now. So the Edge gets AI. So enhanced AI. This one right here, the only reason you would buy it over, and talking to people, this is talking to people who don't have either. They still have the older ones, the 20, the 21, I'm saying, the S9s, they're way in that category. If you have the 22 backwards, I would say, you could definitely look at the Edge over this if you want a better camera, you want the newer design. But the only reason to get this over the Edge at this point, it would be just you want the bigger battery. That's it. I'll compare them side by side too, but at this point in the game, this has stellar battery, and that's going to be my only concern with using the Edge every day is battery. But we shall see, because we know 4,000 milliamps in a phone isn't a slouch, but 5,000 is. So this has 4,900 officially, and the Edge has 3,900 officially. So it just depends on what apps I'm using, how I'm using the phone. It's going to come down to a lot of things, and using this phone, it is stellar on the battery. So with that said, almost 4 months, we'll call it 90 days. This thing is a hit. The only problem was pricing and the trade-in values, but I just walked into Best Buy and bought mine this year. And that's what I did with the Galaxy S25 Edge. But I'll leave a link in the description so you can get your Galaxy S25 Edge through Samsung if you plan on doing trade-ins and things like that. They're giving the top notch for the trade-ins. So I suggest you do it there if you want to deal with them. But I think this device is always been a hit. Everybody who thinks that they need the Ultra, if you're not pulling out the S Pen, folks, you would be totally fine with this phone right here. You really would. This would be a device that you could possibly just use just like the Edge. You just don't have the S Pen. And then if you just wanted to use a pen, you have all these different kind of stylus and stuff that you can actually do. So it's just a matter of your preference. I know if you want that little bit bigger screen and you like the boxy design and you want the S Pen every now and then the Ultra is for you. But in the end, I would recommend this over the Ultra, like I've always done when all the way back to when I first saw the S23. I always recommended it over the Ultra. But now, since the 24, they've given them quad issue displays, and it is on point. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.